Jesus got some place with you. No.
Wonderful time
you gotta hold on.
to be alive, to be able to witness the things that the Bible has declared would happen. I mean, it will be like on the day of Pentecost. When someone said, "This is that," that was spoken of by Prophet Joel. That in the last days, we are his witnesses. And in the very midst of how do we handle it? Let's just believe it. Father, in Jesus' name, we need your help. And we need your presence. Because we know that where your spirit is, there is living. As we join ourselves to you in prayer, knowing that you're here. Every believer everywhere right now in Jesus' name, we look up to you. To call upon your name, knowing that you are a present help in our time of trouble. Whenever we are in our time of need, you're that present help. As we study your word once more and again, be with us, speak through us, speak to us. In Jesus' name. So it crossed my mind to ask a question. You know how it was when you were little? And you could almost feel it when your parents were going to get upset about something. It's like you knew when you had gone too far. You know what we do? We would say something like, ooh, ooh. That means that something is going to happen to you. Ooh. So tonight as we study the book of Isaiah, I'm not ooh, but something like ooh. As we spend a little time and we want to talk about being overthrown by strangers. What it means to be overthrown by strangers. And actually, when you think about it, being overthrown at all is not a good thing. Because to be overthrown is to be in a position of safety and be taken from that position to a position that you don't feel so safe. I want you to stay with me here. I want you to listen to me well. To be secure to have a sense of not only security, but also tranquility. So we've got two elements: to be secure and to feel an element of peace. Because after all, what is it to be secure and not to be at peace? So it is with these subjects in our lesson tonight. And it's also the same way in our nation today. And when I use a word like in our nation, that seems comfortable. And what makes that comfortable is it seems far enough away. Because when you use a term like nation, it is easy to visualize some other place. But when it's outside your front door, when it's on your street, when it's near your church, when it's next door to you, in your county, in your face, what do? When we've been overthrown by strangers. The book of Isaiah, verses, actually, chapter 1, from chapter 1 to about chapter 33, Isaiah prophesied, and the authenticity of the book and the authorship of the book are said to be, by many theologians, more than one author. Not just Isaiah alone was the writer of this work. But then there's judgment that's been spoken of. And at the same time, like peace and tranquility, there's also another parallel, and it's judgment and restoration. I mean, two appear to be totally diverse of each other, but yet one births the other. One comes right out of the other. The same as needing more makes you do more. Judgment brings about restoration. And until a judgment comes, how can there be any restoration? Because without the judgment that we speak of, nothing changes.
That's right.
Everything remains the same. And if everything remains the same, then how can we be restored?
Yeah.
The prefix re, R-E, in the word restore, re means do again.
Yeah.
Bring back. Rest, like if you had a car that was restored, then that car would look like it did at one time.
Yeah.
Or if you had a house that was restored, you would bring back its beauty,
Yeah.
the way it was in its original state. So are we to assume And I'm going to go right into the verse, but are we to assume? I want you to listen to me really well. Would you and I really think, listen to this real good, would we really assume that of the things that are running rampant, not only in the secular world, but the church world refers to as the world, but also in the church? I want you to just run this around in your head for a second. Do we really believe that God is not going to do anything about it? Will things just go on? Will evil just go on? Will mayhem just continue? Will all these things that are against the law of God, against the law of God, continue with no end in sight? Let us begin the reading in our lesson, Overthrown by Strangers. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz. I'm reading from Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. Which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Notice the backdrop. These are what we today will call the believers. They are not polytheistic. They are not paganistic. They are monotheistic. And that is the one thing that sets them apart from every other believer, no matter what they believe. They only believe in one God. Hear, O heavens, here's the prophecy, here's the talking. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth. For the Lord hath spoken. What did God say? I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel does not know, my people doth not consider. Now, they are called by the name of my people. They're referred to as the people of God. And I know you don't know anybody like this, but they are called the people of God. But the Lord, the God that they say they worship, is saying they don't know. They don't know. I said to be overthrown by strangers. So far, all of these seem to be the same people. They all appear to know each other. They have a history together. Maybe even they worship together. But there is something that has brought about an estrangement. You heard people say, he was estranged. She was estranged. You know what that means? You know what that means? Something has brought about a separation between them. And whatever it is, it has caused them to be as strangers. Verse 4. Ah, sinful nation. Now that AH is meaning an expression. Not a, but it's an expression. Sinful nation. A people laden with iniquity. A seed of evildoers. Children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away, and the writer says they are gone away backward. They're going away backward. And me ask the question, why should you be stricken anymore? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. And so, at a time when we would think, or we would believe, even in our times, that everything is all right between us and God. Now, I don't see anything about these people that so far says that they were aware that something had happened, or that things were different, or that they were estranged, or that they even knew that God was, as it reads right here, that he was angry. You ever have a person get angry with you? Yeah. I mean, it's one thing when your husband is angry with you. You might can handle that. Or when your wife is angry, you possibly handle that. And you know your parents sometimes get angry with you. Or you get angry with your parents. And in every case, when you decide to make that person an object of your anger, what would you, just as a suggestion, what would you do if God was angry with you? How would you handle God? Okay, let's say, what would you not pray to him anymore? Why would you pray to him anyway? I mean, what does God have that you need? Why would you pray to him? I mean, all you need is your health and strength, right? And, you know, Isaiah chapter 8 say, and it is the Lord thy God that give us the power to get wealth.
Yeah.
That's your health and your strength.
Thank you.
And God gives you ideas.
Yeah.
Mental capacity, shows you things in visions and dreams. But I mean, what would you need with that? want to just jog your attention. Get you focused. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. You're in a wounded state, a state of continual injury. But what has brought this about? This could not be a point of restoration. This is not what you would look like restored. Putrefying sores, wounds, all those things. I don't think that's restoration. Your country, now I want you to come on with me now. Draw close.
Yeah.
Your country is desolate. But wait a minute. How can we be desolate? How can we be desolate? We have stuff.
Yeah.
We have an economy. We have cars.
Yeah.
Trucks. Airplanes are constantly flying overhead. But yet and still, you speak of a world as though it's invisible because I can't see it. He said your country is desolate.
No.
What if I would suggest to you, and cursed is that nation that forget God? What is your wealth without God? Put not trust in uncertain riches, for surely they shall take wings. Suppose you had all the money in the world. All the automobiles in the world were yours. All the houses were yours. All the gold was yours. All the silver is yours. All the diamonds were yours. But no God. You have all these things. Can I share this with you? Would you mind? Would you write this down somewhere in your memory? Some things are extremely valuable, at the same time, they're totally worthless.
Amen.
How can a thing be valuable and worthless? I want you to spend about 5 seconds on that. Some people are buried with jewelry. They did the kings that way. The great, pharaohs. They buried them with all this gold.
Yeah.
People are now trying to dig it up. But all of that gold and finery in that tomb, what was it worth? Think about it. It doesn't matter if Obama attended your homegoing. What value is that to you? You don't even know it. When you were alive, he didn't come see you. When you're gone, you don't know it. Wouldn't that be something like worthless?
Oh, yeah.
So this is what makes a country desolate. Just because you have stuff don't mean you can't be desolate. Just because you have an economy don't mean you can't be desolate. Sodom and Gomorrah had wealth. but they were desolate. He tried to pay Abraham. Abraham wouldn't take. You know what he says? He said, lest you go around telling people you made Abraham rich. Abraham like, put your money up. I don't want it.
That's right.
And God gave him the wherewithal to see.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, even to this day, if the entire, I don't want to offend anybody, but the entire, they don't mind being called gays. Community. Suppose all of them, the bisexual, the lesbian, the gay community, just suppose they could say, Abraham took money from the king of Sodom. You know what that would mean? But they can't claim it because it's not true. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence. Your land, strangers devour. Now, what does it mean to devour? To destroy? Is that okay? To consume, right? In your face while you are watching. That's what he said. Strangers devour it in your presence. This country was a Judeo-Christian country, and there are a lot of other issues, but they did believe in God. Now we got some folk that obviously are strangers. They don't want God. They would rather worship Satan. They don't want the 10 Commandments. And they know God. But they don't worship him as God. But they choose to worship a creature. That's that dark enemy. Rather than the creator. With little acknowledgement that he has given life to both of them. But he's given you choice. And choose you this day.
Yeah.
Who you will serve. You pledge allegiance to who?
God.
See? Only you really know the answer to that. Nobody can answer for you. And they do this, strangers. What makes them strangers? Because they are estranged.
Yeah.
Let's read some more. Strangers devoured in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. I mean, can't be anybody familiar. Can't be anybody known. Can't be another brother, another sister. Why would they overthrow? Why would they devour? And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city, as a besieged city. The term besieged means held hostage. That was a form of warfare where they would surround the city, cut it off from all communication, supplies, all that, water, food, in an attempt to overthrow. But in this case, we have the same thing. He said, as if besieged. How are we besieged? Well, there are people that right now, anything just, anything lovely, anything right, anything fair, they're not for it. And they are reprobate unto every good work. You bring up something good, there's something wrong with it. Talk about fair, there's something wrong with it. Talk about the Bible, there's something wrong with it. Talk about God, there's something wrong with it. Some people go so far, they ask the question so silly as, how do you know he could be a sheep? What book you read that in? Right. Some people believe that the earth would be better off without black people. What if we didn't have trees? What if we do away with the clouds? What if we just decide, all these things that were good and very good are not? Without trees, there would be no nitrogen, no oxygen, reproduction. Without the clouds, there wouldn't be any protection from the sun. We parch. Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised how powerful the sun is. God's system protects us from it. Oh, yeah. So now, verse 9 says, except the Lord of hosts, all of this careful, except the Lord of hosts, which is the same as saying, if God hadn't done, if it wasn't for him, had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Without the divine intervention of God, without God's hand reaching in, without the will of God being expressed, without the mercy of God, we would have been as Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Because of how they were. And it's like no one has any real fear of that anymore. Talk about Sodom and talk about Gomorrah. Do you remember that? Do you really know what happened? Secondly, what could they do about it? What could they do about it? When the hail fell, when the brimstone fell, when the fire fell, who could do anything about it? Who? Hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Now he uses the reference Sodom. He uses it metaphorically. Because having been likened unto them, because of what they did, because of what these believers were doing, he likened them, he speaks metaphorically to them in that second person. Give ear unto the law of God, of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Do you know there's people who try to buy their way through everything? Check this out. Check this out. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith the Lord. I am full of burnt offerings and rams. And a ram was to be offered. Telling it. Right thing, wrong circumstances. And the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of he goats. What he's saying is bring whatever you will. Everything right here that you bringing me is animals that have been sacrificed and they've been dead, but those sacrifices have not done anything for you. You bringing me, you bring it. Jesus said it in the New Testament. You pay tithe of a mint, anise and cumin. He said, but there's a weightier matter. Not to leave that undone. Under the right circumstances, they would have brought the right thing. They would have been doing the right thing. But they were not. When you come, verse 12, when you come to appeal before me, who have required this at your hand? To tread my courts. Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths. See, these are things that people were doing. Trying to approach God. The calling of assemblies. I cannot away with it, but you're doing the right thing. But there's something about it. It's like he's saying you're painting a wall that's not painted. Your water is not wet. Your fire is not hot. Your ice is not cold. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. As serious as y'all trying to be. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hated. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when ye spread, listen. And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. You know what that means? God said, when you look up to me, I won't look back at you.
Have mercy, Lord.
Yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. You read it? When you make many, out of all the praying and whooping and crying and this and that and that and that, God said it falls on deaf ears. Have you ever read the Lord's arm is not short, neither his ears heavy?
Amen. Amen.
He said, but it is your what?
Iniquity.
That is separated between you and your God.
Iniquity.
Yeah. Your hands are full of blood. And so the way it is with God, he always tries to give you a way out. Wash you, make you clean. All he's saying is choose, make a choice.
Yeah.
Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Come now, let us reason together, saith the Lord, for your sins be as scarlet. They shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. And I could go on. I love to go on and on. So what he's saying is, and if you read on down the rest of this chapter, he's saying, I'm going to bring back the days of judgment. When your leaders were right, when their hearts were right. Because when their hearts got right, their minds got right. When their minds got right, their decision making got right. And they did those things that were right in the sight of God. And he said, God said, I'm going to bring all that back. It's on down the piece, same chapter. He said, but it's going to be through judgment. And after that, he said, there will be restoration. I'll restore it. It'll be as it was. But right now, we are being overthrown by strangers. All these people that we see creating all these laws and bribes and lies, these people have been bribed into things, and they're doing this stuff by the spirit of Antichrist. Anybody doing stuff against God has the spirit of Antichrist. Do you really believe that this will go on with no let up? God's not going to do anything? You really believe that? Don't believe it. Because there was one time before the long suffering of God waited during the days of Noah while the ark was being prepared. Where it was for 8 souls. Whatever the rest. And he said, if you cry out, you call out. God said, I am not listening. I purposely will not listen. And I know you call it. I won't so much as look your way. And what did he say? Wash you. Make you clean. Stop your evil. That's the devil's job. And these are things that we learn. Now, there's an opportunity right now. You're watching this video. I mean, right down where you are. You don't have to be right here. I mean, it's nice to go to a church, but there are many people who go to church and come back just the way they go. They bust all the way there, and the only reason they stop is their friends can hit them inside. And they get back in the car and they start all over again. That's why he said, wash it. I mean, don't you know right and wrong? To be overthrown by strangers. What makes them strange? They have this attitude of rebellion. He said, I raised up and nursed children. He said they rebelled against him. He said, even an ox knows stalk, and the ass's mouth is crib. He said, but my people, they don't get it. God said, I have to do something about it. Because right now they're being overthrown by strangers. But then he said, the writer said, except there was a remnant, unless there was something else, we would have been a Sodom and Gomorrah. But God is good. And I pray, God, right now, as you make your iPod, your laptop, your office, that you would just say, Lord Jesus, come to my life. Help me. Help me to wash, to be clean, to leave off on doing evil. Let him know you need it. Let him know you don't want to be saved. And if you do that, he'll restore you. He'll bring you back better than you were before. God bless you. I thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.
This is not your place of destiny. No, it isn't.